It is possible that the source of the Sun's magnetic field may be located in proximity to its outermost layer. Greetings, everyone. Today we will be delving into a fascinating topic in our video. Researchers have put forth an intriguing proposition regarding the origin of the Sun's magnetic field. Instead of being generated from the depths of the Sun, it is suggested that instabilities in its outermost layers may be responsible. Through simulations that perturb the top 5 to 10% of the Sun's surface, the researchers observed magnetic field patterns that closely resemble those observed on the actual Sun. This discovery has significant implications for the prediction of solar flares and geomagnetic storms. It challenges the conventional understanding of how the Sun's magnetic field is formed and offers a fresh perspective on the dynamics of our star. So, without any further delay, let us dive right into our discussion. A recent publication in the scientific journal Nature reveals that a team of researchers from MIT, the University of Edinburgh, and other institutions have discovered that the Sun's magnetic field may be generated by instabilities occurring in its outermost layers. By creating an accurate model of the Sun's surface, the team discovered that introducing specific perturbations in the plasma flow within the uppermost portion of the Sun resulted in realistic magnetic field patterns, closely resembling those observed by astronomers. On the other hand, their simulations conducted in deeper layers resulted in solar activity that was noticeably less authentic. The research findings indicate that sunspots and flares may be the result of a shallow magnetic field, challenging the previous assumption that these phenomena originated from deeper within the Sun. According to Keaton Burns, a research scientist in MIT's Department of Mathematics, the various features observed when observing the Sun, such as the corona witnessed during the recent solar eclipse, sunspots and solar flares, are all linked to the magnetic field of the Sun. Our findings demonstrate that perturbations occurring in the vicinity of the Sun's surface, rather than in its deeper layers, have the potential to gradually develop into the magnetic structures that are observable. Should it be determined that the Sun's magnetic field originates from its outer layers, this discovery could potentially enhance scientists' ability to predict and mitigate the impact of flares and geomagnetic storms on satellites and telecommunication systems. According to Geoffrey Vasil, a researcher at the University of Edinburgh and co-author, the dynamo can be likened to a colossal clock composed of numerous intricate components that interact with one another. The puzzle remains incomplete, with many missing pieces and their interconnections still a mystery. However, comprehending and forecasting the solar dynamo hinges on this fresh perspective on its origin. The co-authors of the study, hailing from prestigious institutions such as Northwestern University, Bates College, the University of Colorado at Boulder, and the University of California at Santa Cruz, include Daniel Lecoine, Kyle Augustson, Jeffrey Oishi, Benjamin Brown, Keith Julian, and Nicholas Brummel. At the heart of our solar system, the Sun exists as a searing sphere of plasma, its surface in a constant state of boiling. The area known as the convection zone is characterized by the turbulent movement and flow of plasma in the form of layers and plumes. Stretching approximately 200,000 kilometers beneath the surface, the convection zone encompasses the upper one-third of the Sun's radius. According to Burns, a fundamental concept for initiating a dynamo involves the presence of a plasma-rich area where plasma interacts and moves alongside other plasma, resulting in a shearing motion that effectively transforms kinetic energy into magnetic energy. The prevailing belief was that the magnetic field of the Sun originated from the movements occurring at the lowermost part of the convection zone. In an attempt to determine the exact source of the Sun's magnetic field, other researchers have employed extensive three-dimensional simulations to unravel the complex flow of plasma within the various layers of the Sun's interior. According to Burns, despite the need for millions of hours on national supercomputing facilities, the simulations still fall far short of capturing the true turbulence of the Sun. Instead of attempting to replicate the intricate plasma flow that occurs throughout the Sun's entire body, Burns and his colleagues pondered whether analyzing the stability of plasma flow near the surface could sufficiently elucidate the origins of the dynamo process. In order to delve into this concept, the team initially employed data from the field of helioseismology, a discipline in which scientists analyze vibrations observed on the surface of the Sun to deduce the underlying plasma's average structure and flow. According to Burns, by capturing a slow-motion video of a drum and observing its vibrations, one can determine the shape and stiffness of the drum head based on its vibrational modes. In a similar vein, the average structure within the Sun can be deduced by analyzing the vibrations observed on its surface. The researchers, in their recent study, obtained models of the Sun's internal composition through helioseismic observations. According to Burns, the average flows resemble the layers of an onion with various rotations of plasma passing one another. We then inquire whether there exist small disturbances or variations in the plasma flow that, when added to the overall structure, could potentially develop and impact the Sun's magnetic field. In order to identify these patterns, the team employed the Daedalus project, a numerical framework created by Burns that has the capability to accurately simulate various types of fluid flows. The application of the code has spanned a diverse array of challenges, encompassing everything from simulating cellular dynamics to studying ocean and atmospheric circulations. According to Burns, after years of contemplation on the issue of solar magnetism, his team of collaborators has finally reached a stage where they can tackle the problem using the advanced capabilities of Daedalus. The team successfully integrated their developed algorithms into Daedalus, enabling the identification of self-reinforcing changes in the average surface flows of the Sun. Through its analysis, the algorithm has uncovered previously unknown patterns that have the potential to develop and manifest as authentic solar activity. The team specifically discovered patterns that align with the observed locations and durations of sunspots, a phenomenon that astronomers have been documenting since Galileo's observations in 1612. The Sun's magnetic field is believed to shape transient features on its surface known as sunspots. In contrast to the Sun's blazing white-hot surface, these cooler regions stand out as dark spots. For many years, astronomers have made the consistent observation that sunspots follow a cyclical pattern, with a duration of approximately 11 years, and tend to concentrate around the equator as opposed to the polar regions. Through their simulations, the team discovered that specific alterations in the plasma flow within the uppermost 5 to 10% of the Sun's surface layers were sufficient to produce magnetic structures in those exact areas. On the other hand, alterations occurring in the deeper layers result in solar fields that are less authentic and tend to be concentrated near the poles rather than the equator. Motivated by the resemblance of surface flow patterns to unstable plasma flows in other systems, such as the accretion disks around black holes, the team was compelled to investigate further. Accretion disks, composed of gas and stellar dust, exhibit rotational movement towards a black hole, propelled by the magnetorotational instability. This instability generates turbulence within the flow, resulting in its inward descent. Burns and his colleagues posited that the Sun may exhibit a comparable phenomenon wherein the magnetorotational instability occurring in its outermost layers could potentially initiate the formation of the Sun's magnetic field. He cautiously suggests there is a possibility that this outcome may spark controversy among experts. He further explains, the majority of the scientific community has been primarily dedicated to uncovering evidence of dynamo activity in the Sun's core. However, our findings indicate the existence of an alternative mechanism that appears to align more closely with observed phenomena. Burns emphasizes that the research team is currently engaged in further investigations to ascertain whether the newly discovered surface field patterns have the capability to generate individual sunspots and ultimately contribute to the complete 11-year solar cycle. Partial support for this research was provided by NASA. To support our channel's growth and ensure broader awareness, kindly hit the like and subscribe buttons. This will help us reach more individuals and disseminate valuable information. Thank you in advance.